Hello, everybody. Welcome to SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duanius, graphic artist, Esquire, and joining in. If you are joining in for the very first time, you should know that I typically rant about art, movie, and in this case, game-related stuff. It's a game-related podcast. Today, chosen by myself for you, the audience. Joining me today is Ashley Gangfeather West. Ashley, say hi.
Hey.
Hey, Ashley. And not joining me also is Wesley Rusher, freelance gaming assassin. Wesley's out on assignment. He may be able to drop back in. I held the cast off one extra day to try to get some of his precious time, but he's a busy dude. So we're gonna have to continue without Wesley. No big deal. So no big deal. You don't count, Wesley. So all right. If you ever wonder, folks, I never talk about you behind your back. I just go on the cast and talk about it there. So we're all good. All right. So Ashley, let's talk some gaming.
All right.
Let's see, let's bring up the board, see what you got here. So we got a couple topics that you put up. I think we can relate two into one. Let's talk about that microtransactions. You had a question about microtransactions?
Yeah. All right. So I want to know if people think they're fair, they're not fair, and I think what I'm trying to say is like certain instances they probably are just fine, and then certain other instances they're not. Whereas like I guess, and if anybody doesn't know what a microtransaction is, it's like after you buy a game, you're in the game, and the game's like, hey, you want to buy like some cool little like emote that your character can do, like your character can blow somebody a kiss or it can dance, it's only $5, you can buy it. Like that's a microtransaction, something where it's just asking you to buy, you put actual American dollars into this game, not fictional money. So anyway, and like I guess like my example of microtransactions being fine is like I've been playing Destiny recently, and you have this currency called silver that you can use to buy an emote, which is basically what I just described. Somebody like waving, somebody falling to their knees and praying. I don't know. It's just something you can do to just do stupid things with your friends while you're playing. And they like it's weird because they give it to you like in silver, but you buy silver by going online and paying like $3 for 100 silver. So it's kind of weird, but I guess that's how most games do it. And so like I think that's fine because it's not interfering with your skill level or your XP or anything like that. But in certain situations in games where it's like, hey, if you want this really cool weapon, or you want to like make your weapon stronger, then you can pay like $5 extra. And it's that like I feel like in that situation, it's not cool. So that's just my take on it.
Well, let's just take it back a step. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to 2004, 2003. And I'm bringing this up because for me, this all sort of started around a game I like to call, and it existed before, but for me, it started around a game called Maple Story. If you've never heard of Maple Story, it's a 2D side-scrolling sort of MMO free-to-play game. And I got way into this in like 2003 because I could not find any Japanese looking side scrollers. They just didn't exist. There was no indie market to speak of. Steam really hadn't come out yet. I mean, or it would just come out. There was no Half-Life 2 available. There was nothing available. And I was like, I want to play this. It's not in English. I would like to get it. And people on the internet started getting into this sort of thing. And then it became a big question to every major developer at the time. When are you going to go free to play? When are you going to go free to play? And I remember at the time, the president of EA said that will never be a viable model in the United States. And what's funny is if you look at the way EA and Activision, all these companies do their business now, it's like their most viable option at this point for a lot of these mega super online games, Destiny being an Activision game included. Um, Now, you're right in that if you'd like to get some extra content, there's some goofy stuff that's made, basically at the standards of the game, the professional standards at which the game was produced. So we're not talking about like case in point, Skyrim or Oblivion. If you have the PC game, someone out there they'll go and make a Final Fantasy sword, right? The Cloudbuster, and then you got the Final Fantasy Cloudbuster. You walk around, didn't cost you nothing. Someone made it, but it's probably kind of janky, right? It's not really, it's not always accurate. So in this case, you would get something that is, at the professional level of the game in which you already own it. And that's cool. I think Steam and Valve actually sort of pioneered this with the hats. Team Fortress 2. You know, like you used to get these little cool hats, and you walk around, people have different hats, and it'd be good to promote different games coming out. They cost an extra buck or two. Um, Whether they're fair or not, look, you can look at a game called Payday 2 recently came out that just switched its whole gameplay model to being able to upgrade your character's stats by paying money. Now, it's not the biggest upgrade change. It doesn't affect a lot of different things, but it's something they said they never do, and now they're doing because they're having a hard time bringing continual revenue in. You know, it's a game that they have to run servers. They can only sell so many new copies. At some point, a game might move 10,000 copies a year, but is 10,000 copies a year going to be enough to keep people making more game? So I could sort of see microtransactions. I mean, sort of, basically, microtransactions are there to keep the game running, to give more content to the game, like in Mario Kart, and you know you can get more tracks, more race cars. But I think we can all agree, the big fucking problem is when you're getting less game, and then you have to sort of pay for everything a la carte. Um, that's some horse shit, you know, like that's the worst. I think someone recently, I was reading an article where someone had to like give up their Xbox because their kid spent $8,000 on FIFA
Mhm.
microtransactions or FIFA, and I'm like, how is that even possible? How can you have $8,000 worth of transactions for your game? You know, like what? I mean, when people tell me I don't like some of the complaints I get from like my friends who don't like bacon, who don't want to crowdsource video games, is because they're like, well, you know, they're just sometimes things are too expensive too on crowdfunding, and I'm like, but not $8,000 to get a game, you know, like, like, or you could accidentally spend, you know, 200-300 bucks on some Destiny add-ons that don't mean shit. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, I I like a game in which it gives you two options: one, free to play, you can piecemeal the whole thing, or two, you can buy it outright. It's the best way to go. You know, like I want to buy the game outright. If that means I got to pay 60, 80 bucks to get the game outright, then great, I want to buy that. You know, I don't want to get the full game. If they have some additional stuff they're going to make after it, like in the case of Mario Kart 8 where they were actually making stuff after it, then I'll buy that too as I want to buy it, right? I don't want the Animal Crossing levels, but I want the Zelda levels. I think that's the best thing I've seen. And I think the model makes a lot of sense for indie studios because you know they need continual revenue. You know, I get that. You know, um, and you need to pay people who make that stuff. So I see that. But the biggest problem comes into where say you're playing a competitive game and people just have unfair advantages because they spent more money than you. Well, you know that's a pyramid scheme essentially. So I honestly don't do competitive online gaming, Ashley. You know,
Mhm.
like I don't play first-person shooters online, so I'm not the biggest, you know, uh,
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not target for that.
yeah. I mean, I'm not, I mean, even though it's like that's kind of what Destiny is multiplayer online. I stay offline. I mean, I am online, but I'm just like I want to do things by myself. Unless sometimes I play with my friends or I just am like, well, I need this and I have to do it in order to play. I have to play with people in order to get it. But yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
So,
so I wish Wesley was here.
yeah.
Man, give his opinion. I'm sure he had something really insightful and intelligent and witty, and he has that baritone voice. But he's not. All right, so let's move on to some big news this week. Psychonauts 2 finally completed their crowdfunding. They raised over 3.8 million mulas. 3.8 dineros, 3.8 big bucks. They made the money, which for me is a win because a lot of my gamer friends seem to hate Tim Schafer because they have no soul. Um, I want to know, you have any thoughts on Psychonauts 2? I mean, do you follow any of that or Ashley?
Um, Honestly, like I never got around to playing Psychonauts, but it's on my list. I'm gonna play it. But it's just one of those games that slip through the cracks, kind of, you know how that just happens. But I can tell just by the look of the game, it would be a game I'd enjoy. So I am looking forward to playing it. But as far as like my impressions of it or anything like that, like I mean, go ahead. What was the question again?
Well, I was wondering if you had played it before, which you haven't.
No, I haven't. But I do know that Richie Horvitz is the voice of Raz, and I love Richie Horvitz. So
And
So
he's
there you
funny
go.
too. Like when he comes on the
Yeah.
stream, he's like, "People can't believe this is the face of Raz," you know. And his voice is eternally youthful. Like
It is.
that's that's no joke, you know. Like
Yeah.
I would love to just have him order everything at the drive-through, you know. Then they see you.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm so glad. Who knows what the game will turn out like, you know, whether it's going to be good or bad or if there'll be more drama. I think the sad part about the way the internet perceived the development of Double Fine Adventure, aka Broken Age, they're going to be more cautious about what they film in terms of the documentary material. Last time they had two-player productions, they captured everything, like how development went good or bad, and they put it up. And then the internet was sort of able to, the hate mongers were able to sort of twist it in some weird spin that I've covered it before. Folks, go check out the video on Psychonauts 2 I did with Bacon because it gets crazy. But I think it's a little shame because he's been really hesitant. Like, we don't know how we're gonna, you know, show this. We're filming. We don't like, and I just, you know, I think the biggest problem from for fans of gaming is they really have no idea how games are made. They really don't. And I mean, folks, I mean, when I was in high school, this is 1992. I went to first time I went to a guidance counselor, which I didn't even know what the hell that meant. I was used to going to like social worker counselors. I was like, "It's a counselor? You want to talk about my education?" And they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I want to work in video games." And they were like, "What? People make those?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, how do you think they end up on the stores? Someone made that, you know, like they draw it,
Mhm.
they put it in. And I think even today, with as much that's out there, people don't really know how games are made. Uh, and Double Fine Adventure documentary really gives a great insight into how lucid a game's development can be. That, you know, you play it, you test it, you play it. Systems don't always work. Things to come together at the last second. Sometimes you over budget or under budget. Really, you run out of time. And so I just think giving a more I wish there was. This is wishful thinking. There's never going to be a solid platform on which you can show how things went wrong and people are supportive. You know, like overall, you know, it went bad, but the game came out and received well. It's just that development is difficult. I mean, case in point, I'm working on the Game Cave book. I mean, and it's taken me 3 years. By the time it comes out this summer, it'll have taken 3 years to conceptualize, learn how to do everything, build it, make it, and it's like, wow, that took way more effort than I thought it would. But I really recommend anyone, if you're interested in developing video games, watch the Double Fine Adventure. You don't have to support Psychonauts 2 until the day it's out. You know what I mean? I get that. I'm never gonna force people to do it, but I'm so happy. I love the universe of Psychonauts. I love every universe Tim Schafer comes up with. There, people ask me who my most when they go, Rob, what comic books influenced you? I would say not really a lot. The Dark Knight Returns, some of the Turtles comics, you know, Spawn Bone. But really, it was Tim Schafer's video games and the writings of Ron Gilbert, like in Maniac Mansion. Like those games, it was like playing an animated movie, you know, like playing an animated comic book movie thing and being a part of that world. So I'm so excited. Moving on from that to sort of back her off or piggyback off the Psychonauts conversation, you had a question about funding with Fig.
Yeah.
You want to tell people what Fig is?
So Fig is in my understanding, it's pretty new, isn't it? New. It's basically a crowdfunding site, but like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, except it's, in my opinion, what I'm getting is it's very, very exclusive to video games, and not just anybody that wants to make a video game, but like, I guess, bigger companies that want to kind of section themselves off and kind of be like, hey, this is serious. I mean, that's just what I got from it. It seemed like it was, we're not playing around here. We're serious about this. If you want to come support us here, please do. Because I think on Fig right now there's only 3 projects, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. I think it's 3.
Yeah,
But
they successfully crowded sourced the first one, the second one not so much, and then Psychonauts 2.
yeah, right. So, and I'm sure there'll be many more to come. But right now, it's just pretty far and few between. But that was kind of my opinion. That's kind of what I got from it. And like right now, like I guess the big investors, they would invest like $100,000. I mean, those were like the big ones. But they're saying anybody that invests over $1,000 kind of has like some say in the game, is what I kind of got from it. But again, I was kind of reading an article, and so things I know change and whatnot. So that's just what I picked up from it. And so, and your thoughts?
Okay, so Fig basically, from what I understand, is a platform that was developed by Justin Bailey, who was a business guy that was brought in to help on Double Fine Adventure, actually, and Double Fine Studios, sort of keep them on track. Because as Tim Schafer got creative, someone needs to run the business. You can't, folks, you kind of can't do both. That's why Jim Lee got out of running a studio, Wildstorm, and then became, sold it to DC and then became, art director, so he can be more creative. Um, Sort of the same thing here. And from what I understand with Fig is Justin helped build this. It's a platform that, one, it's a crowdfunding platform, but two, does allow them to be able to say, hey, look, people say that we're not really investors, we're just backers. So some people would actually like to have the possibility of getting money back after they spend it on a game. And so if you invest at a certain level, I think it's $1,000 or more, you could, if after it reaches a point of profitability, see some return on your initial investment. Um, Now, as for having a say in a game, I highly doubt that.
Yeah, well, that was wrong terminology. I meant, I think what I was saying is like, I guess you might see what you said, some of the return, like you might get some money back from it, but not be like, this is what's going on here. And I think that's what I meant to say is you might see some uh, money, I
Yeah, and
guess.
I
But
think that's a good step in the direction of being able to say, look, you can have more of a participation here
yeah,
than you normally would, as well as there's only so much seed money to go around. There's only so much investors. Um, and right now, if you really want seed money for your game, the only way to do that is to build a really functioning demo, somehow get it in front of a publisher like Activision or uh, Sony or some big publisher, and then have them basically purchase, give you the money to then develop it, and then they own the game. Basically,
right.
how it works.
And I want to totally retract my statement of that the people when they invest they get a say. That's totally wrong. I know that that is wrong because that's what Fig is about. Is about you still like the developers still having complete control over the game, but the investors still get a little bit of that dough, or I don't know what it is
And there
that
are
they get.
people who people like there are people who would like to be able to do that.
Yeah,
For me, I'm not a money man, so I'm not really like I don't want to invest $1,000 into any game. I would invest $1,000 into myself if I, like if I'm gonna hedge a bet creatively with me. But I do have a lot. I do have friends who have means, and they're not giving it to me. But this is something I could see definitely for that person who's making $100,000, $200,000 a year and they're a gamer and they want to throw in 5 grand on something to legitimate developers. So I think that's a good option. I don't know how much of the money raised is from that right now. I don't think they're giving specifics on how much was Fig, how much wasn't. I've seen in the Fig forums that there are ways to find more of that info out, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really pursue it because it's not really interesting to me. Um, I think it is interesting that Double Fine, in one way, shape, or another, was able to develop their own crowdfunding platform in which they raise the same amount of money they raise on Kickstarter, but they don't have to then give 10 or 16% of it to Kickstarter and Amazon.
hmm
Uh, so they really need to come through on Psychonauts because they did it with 20,000, 25,000 backers roughly. And before on Kickstarter, they had 84,000. So they did a lot more with less backers this time. So I if that's gonna happen again, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to, and I think they're aware that they're gonna have to make certain that there's no big, um, we're gonna big weird twist of words where they're like, oh, like in case of Broken Age, we're gonna split the game in half, and then people are like they're making us buy the other half of the game, and that wasn't what happened. But it's almost, I'll be honest, Ashley, it's almost a giant quagmire to delve into that conversation because it opens up this whole. Have you ever been on Twitter, like the mean side, like not the
I
friendly,
don't
just posting
I don't want to go to the mean side.
I inadvertently ended up in the mean side like about a month ago when I was like, oh, I'm taking my Battlefront money and giving it to Tim Schafer. Oh, fuck balls. Like that.
Yeah.
I got, I mean, it blew me away. I was just like, wow, like, there is an evil side of that. I've heard of this. I've
Yeah.
heard, but I've never had it just the Eye of Sauron just fucking right in my face. So, yes, folks, do not ever, engage in that conversation with folks. So, anyhow, are you playing? What games are you playing right now? By the way, let's just move into that. I didn't actually put it in the notes, but I am interested. What are you playing right now? Actually, like, are you playing anything?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I just finished Transistor from Supergiant, and that was really good game. And if anybody's kind of familiar with Supergiant games, they're the ones behind Bastion, and I think oh gosh, no, I don't
They
want to
did
say it.
Bastion.
What?
They did Bastion.
They did Bastion. Did they do Little Big Planet?
No,
Okay, that's it. That's what I was like. Oh,
that's Media
yeah. Okay,
Molecule.
yeah. That's there we go. Media Molecule.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Bastion. I think Bastion and Mate. Are there any other games by them?
No, there's just
Yeah.
Bastion. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Bastion. And so, it's basically it's a pretty short game. It's weird. It's like it's not turn based, but it has the elements of turn based, as where you can freeze time and you can kind of plan out your steps, but it's all in real time. And so once you plan out, and you can either choose to plan out your steps, or you can just go and just freaking, I don't know, just
Switch gaming, right? Where you can just action, hit the
well,
buttons,
yeah,
and
you can. Okay, sorry, I got stuck. You can either plan out your course of attack, or you can just be like, no, I'm just gonna, melee attack as much as I can, button mash, whatever. And usually, you die quicker that way because you're just not thinking. So I always did the plan out my attacks and then, you know, take it from there. But it's very quick. It only takes like 5 seconds for you to plan your attack once you get really good at it. So. But it had a really good storyline. It was very. It wasn't. I mean, I feel like it really focused on kind of like It was kind of more of like a mystery. Yeah, but I don't know. It was like I don't know how to explain it. I'm not very good at this kind of thing.
no, it's okay.
But
Just take your
it was a
time.
good game. It was a good game, and you should check it out.
You're an artist. I'm gonna draw and shit. I don't talk about it. I'm gonna go on the
Yeah.
podcast, try not to
So
talk about stuff. No, Transistor's a beautiful game. Well, what platform did you play on? PS4 or PC?
PS4.
PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And I mean, I think you can play it on Vita too. Yeah, he played on Vita.
Probably.
But it's kind of weird. It's like that weird top. I don't, what? How do you would explain it? Like
Isometric.
isometric.
Isometric. Yeah.
Isometric. Okay.
Yeah, it's where you got
And
that horizontal, go this way, go that way,
yeah,
horizontally.
but
Yeah.
you're like looking at it. It's like everything's kind of 3D, but you're looking at it from far away, and it's almost top down, but not really. And I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, all hand drawn. It's gorgeous to look at. It's got a great atmosphere. It's sort of got like a techno Instagram feel.
Yeah.
Technogram. We'll roll with that one. Technogram. Yeah, it's a beautiful game. Bastion as well was also equally beautiful and pretty cool. I mean, totally original, nothing like it. You know what I mean? And yet vaguely retro, right? Like I call it
Yeah.
neo retro, or it's those games that take those elements of older games and it sort of builds
Yeah.
that up and then gives you a modern format.
Yeah, I mean, like Transistor is obviously like cyberpunk. I mean, I would call it cyberpunk.
Hmm.
Uh, but did you play it?
Yeah. I played. I didn't play it all the way through. I played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was thought it was really good. For me, I don't know why I didn't stick with it. Probably because why? Probably got sidetracked. If I remember right, I
Yeah.
think I started playing it right around the time I got my Oculus, and then I stopped
Uh,
playing anything that wasn't Oculus related tech demos. I've only recently, in the past few months, been getting into things, coming back to my consoles, trying to get my monies back, folks. Trying to get
yeah.
my, I spent money on the fucking PS4. I'm gonna use it. So I've been playing three things. I've been playing Witcher 3 on my PS4. I got it for 25 bucks. 25 bucks? Yeah. Got Witcher 3 digital download, $25. 17 plus gigs, folks. Took a day or two.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
No.
But that's a game that's going to keep on giving for like the next 10 years.
It's true. You said Witcher 3, right? I've heard some things about this.
Yeah, I mean, but
Witcher 3.
what's really great about it is it organizes your quest by storyline, secondary, and then like treasure or contracts, treasure requests or hunt. So if you
Yeah.
want to just go, if you haven't played it in a while, it gives you a nice recap, like previously on Buffy. It gives you one of those
Yeah.
things. And then if you just want to do the story, you can just stick to the story ones. I stick to the story and only do secondary or treasure quests when I need to grind or level up, basically. So and in that sense, it's like my weekly comic book. I go read it for a few hours a day, and I have a good time, or not a day, but a week. And the story is really good. The acting's phenomenal. I would say Grand Theft Auto 5 still like my favorite story because of the comedy. I like comedy. I like that
Oh,
absurd, over the
yeah.
top. I'm not the violence, just the comedy, the writing. It's funny, funny game, and I like heists. But Witcher 3 is like the best blend between Game of Thrones and like Jedi Knight stuff. So if you like Game of Thrones, you like the Jedi aspect of Star Wars, you like Witcher 3. It can be insanely disgusting. Like I won't spoilers, folks. I'm gonna give you a little spoiler. It's minor spoiler. This thing appeared in a sequence called a botchling. And apparently, if you have a miscarriage in this world and you don't properly bury the fetus, the fucking thing comes up from the ground and haunts you, and it's fucking disgusting. Like
What?
I was like, I had like a glass of wine, and I just put the wine away. I was like, no more. Like that's it's fucking nightmare fuel. So yeah, botchlands. That's disgusting. Insanely great world, huge, 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 huge game. So I've been playing Witcher 3. I finally beat Super Mario 3D Land on my 3DS. When people go, Rob, you could beat that easily. Not the way I play it. I play Mario really simple. If they have coins in a level, I don't move forward until I get all the coins. You know, in Mario 3, when you play a level, if you die a few times, they give you this super power up to skim through it. I don't use a super power up, so I like to beat the level. Took me a full year or so to beat it. And then when I beat it, turns out, spoilers, folks. So if you don't want to know, turn this off now. But if you beat it, you get a whole special world, which is another 8 zones. And you go, well, that's amazing, Rob. That's 10 times harder than the first game, and is not a remix. So that game gives you your fucking money's worth. I won't lie. I'm a little burnt out right now in Super Mario 3D Land. I will say it's probably the best Mario game since Mario 64. And I've played the one on the Wii. I've actually beat that. That was really easy compared to 3D Mario Land. The 3D is really good. If you got a 3DS, especially the new 3DS that does a little motion tracking thing, highly recommend Mario 3D. I mean, you can get the willies sometimes jumping off, like mountains and shit. You're like, oh my god, I'm falling. So I grab the coins. So yeah, it was really good. I got Luigi now, so I'll go and play it like maybe every other week or so. And then lastly, I want to show you all this game, folks. I'm gonna switch to my screen for a second. I found this game. Now, Ashley, don't judge me. All right, don't judge me. But everyone knows I like some strategy RPGs. Strategy RPGs are games like Final Fantasy Tactics, Shining Force. Finally found one that I really like, and unfortunately, has what many would be considered to be sort of a well, I'll show you like a presentation that yeah, so the game's called Stella Glow. And you might go, Rob, that's a lot of pretty girls in your game. And I would say that's true. And my wife would definitely she gave me that look. And I'm like, look, man, look, babe, it's like Call of Duty. It's like murder porn, right? Just take away the murder. There's no porn here. It's really just about songs and girls in skimpy outfits. But what I have to show you folks is if you like strategy RPGs, this game is for you. This is about the best strategy. If this little thing, I need to turn the music off. Let's see if I can cut like right here. Like if you look, let's see if I can do the 720. Strategy RPG and going on in this game is phenomenal. You get to build up your characters. Uh, the story is really nice. But look at the texture. The game looks great. I mean, it looks like Dragon Quest 8 in isometric. And you get these cool animations. It's low poly, which I'm a big fan of low poly. Look at that little monster. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's cute as all shit. I don't give a crap. Don't hate me. Like, don't judge Rob. This is my stuff. Yeah, uniquely Japanese. I will say that there's a free demo on the 3DS eShop. I highly recommend, folks. I'm not being paid to show this stuff off. There's a free demo, that's how I found out about it on the eShop, which turns out to be the first part of the game actually. So you'll kind of retread if you buy the game after you play the demo. But it's got some really phenomenal, like I think it's, were there more? screens and shit here. Um, there's some really great 2D backgrounds, like when they're talking. It's got like a visual novel element to it. When you're talking to folks, you make decisions. A lot of great 2D art. The voice acting is English, so it's a little annoying for me. I'm not a big fan of anime dubs, where the English. I prefer the Japanese. So they don't give you that option here. You gotta listen to the English, which is fine. Just it's a little goofy. But this is the best. I'd say it's not since Tactics Ogre remix on PSP. Yeah, I like this one. I like this better than Disgaea, but Disgaea is kind of frantic. It's like Mario Party meets strategy RPGs. So the music's really good. I mean, the music is really good. So this is. I like my games simple, Ashley. I like them where you can just they play like a game. Like I have
Yeah.
controls and I like to move characters. I like to take my time. I don't like timers ticking down
Oh,
and
I hate that. Oh
yeah.
gosh, I
There
can't stand that.
there was a great strategy RPG on the first PSP called Joan of Arc, made by Level 5, that were fantastic. But they added this element of time, so you got to do things while this time's ticking down on you, and it just and I'm like, I don't need the pressure, like I'm a chess
Yeah.
guy. Just I'm gonna take my time, figure out how I want to do this. Uh, I'd say for me, I like it more than Fire Emblem, the last Fire Emblem, because I think the story here is better. But the new Fire Emblem I hear is fucking phenomenal. So I got to play this before that shit comes out. So
Yeah. To go off on a tangent about timers, I know that I recently was playing some DLC on Borderlands 2, and I was playing, what is it, the Badass Crate or Badassitude or something weird like that. And at one point, and I'm like maxed out. I'm like at level 50. So there's like really hard for me to get any better than I am, or to get a leg up on the bad guys. And they're like, and to make things worse, they're like, so now you have to shoot down all these little helicopters, and you have to do it in 5 minutes. And like the helicopters are moving around like super fast, can't shoot them down. I'm playing with like the heaviest character in the game, so he's just like he's a melee character. So I'm like, I can't, there's no way I can win. And so I was just like, I'm gonna quit. And then that's when I started playing Transistor.
yeah, well, let me give. And we got some hellos. Hello Attila. Hello Hector. So I think for me, like my two most hated elements, the gameplay mechanics they throw in a game, right? One, I don't like the timer. And by again, folks, timers is where like that click, something clicks down and I got to do it by the time the time goes out, and I know I just fucking hate it, especially when the whole game isn't based off that. If the game is like this relaxing journey type thing where I can take my time, and all of a sudden they throw a timer in there to add stress, I don't like it. Two, I hate. This is my most loathsome fucking mechanic where they make you out of. I have to chase someone in a game. You ever play a game where you're just like it's totally exploratory, you're having a good time, and all of a sudden I have to chase someone through a fucking street and everything,
Yeah.
like just
Or
like this,
like
like
they're like
Jack and
eat my
Daxter did that to
yeah.
me. Yeah, Jack 3, you're
Yeah.
playing it, and all of a sudden I got to chase people through the fucking streets for no reason. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, eat my shorts, and you're like, shut up, I'm gonna shoot you, and just like, cause that's what they'll do. They'll like just catch them and hit them, and then they'll be okay. All you have to do, like, that'll make things worse or better.
Yeah, it's so like it was the first time I experienced. I think it was in a Zelda game. Somewhere you had to chase a rabbit, and I remember just like trying to like get the controls where you're just like, come on, get the fucking rabbit, man, get the fucking rabbit. And you're like, I'm like a week. I called Nintendo Power over this catching the rabbit thing. I can't remember the exact game. I want to say it was a Link game, but I remember calling Nintendo Power. Do you even know what I'm talking about, Ashley?
No, I've seen the
uh,
magazines. I've seen the magazines.
okay. So
Famous magazines.
Nintendo used to have before the internet, they had this thing called the game counselors, and every kid wanted to be a game counselor. That was a dream job. I want to be where people just call up and ask me how to fucking, get past a game. And it was, of course, was like a 900 number. So you call this up and it's like $3 a minute. And I'm like, I don't care if I get grounded for a week from now. I gotta know how to beat the fucking rabbit. So like, I remember calling, waiting forever. Finally called the guy. And he's like, you just actually have to just do it. Like there was no help. I was like, what? And I got grounded for a $24 phone call. It was like
Uh,
$24. Which is like $50 in today's moolah. So.
uh,
Do you have one like really hated game mechanic that just takes you out of the game? Like Ashley, like,
uh,
can you think of something? If you can't, don't worry about it. We'll give you some time to think about that later
I,
on.
I think it would be like, hey, so this is a game that's not about racing. So let's put you in a car and just have you race this one thing just to get to this one point. You're like, why? This is not a game about racing, but you're gonna put me in a car and make me drive, and like it's not even that good of a, that's probably what takes me out of the game.
Yeah, I
So
hate it when someone throws in a car into a game and the mechanics are fucked up. And it's not
yeah,
even anything. Right? It's like it's all
and
yeah.
yeah, and you're trying to turn and you like race off the tracks. Oh, and you flip the car and just you're like, no, yeah. So.
Yeah, Burn brings up that Grand Theft Auto makes you chase someone all the time. And I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, and I absolutely hate those fucking missions with a passion. Like that's when I'm like, these guys, like they make me chase people. In a car, I don't mind it as much. Running, I hate. I hate it when a character has to run through the streets because there's just something always you get caught on, like a gate and you're like,
Yes.
come on,
Or or they turn around real quick and they come right back at you and you're like, "Oh my gosh." Like
Yeah.
and then you just like that, a weird bank turn or something. So, yeah.
All right, Ashley. I think that's pretty good time for show. We did a good job this week. So, where can anyone find you on the internet? Where can people find you?
All right. I'm Gang Feather and you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Drawing all the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, almost as much as me. It's true. She's up all the time, folks. As for myself, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Say hi on Twitter at SketchCraft, or go straight to our Facebook, sketchcraft.com. Take you right there. Don't forget, folks, SketchCraft is recorded in front of a live internet audience like Hector, like Burn, which is Comic Guy, and like Attila, all you good people, and supported by viewers like you. Please leave your comments and feedback below, and we will see you all Monday night for the next SketchCraft Live. Later, folks.
Bye.